Hello, hello. So this is my Canvas course. I decided to kind of open up with this little happy picture. I teach English, English 4, and actually my district is going to Canvas next year. So I'm hoping to just keep a lot of what I'm doing here, and just continue using a lot of this stuff for my actual classes. So, I have a little welcome message talking about, the course. I've taken this from my actual course. And I made this button in Canva. I would like to kind of grid it out like that to where students can just kind of click and then they know exactly what is involved in each of the modules. I also have my contact information here. That is my email. That's where my UH email gets forwarded anyway. But if you click on the button, it'll take you to this module one, which was actually a project that I did in one of my classes. Um, I actually had to do a lot of work on it to update it, make it better based on actual delivery of this lesson. Each of these steps for the romantic poetry project was something that my students actually did have to do. But I decided to make it one of those projects where it's a little bit more like in that one of those blended learning models where they do some work outside of class and then come back having read things, having prepared. And so in this project, it's all about romantic period because we just didn't have time to read all of the poets and the poems that, we would have liked to have read. So I broke my students up into small groups. This is the introduction. This is explaining the assignment, what their expectations are, who the poets they could be assigned are, and then the roles that they would have to, assign when working in these small groups. Now it says here three kids in a small group. In my actual instruction, because I had a limited amount of poets, there were some classes that I had to have 5 kids in each group. So, like with these roles, 2 people can be the facilitator or the designer, 2 people can be the researcher, 2 people can be the analyzer. But these were like the only 3 that you really needed, and that way it would make like each of these kids would be expected to pitch in for every step, but these were the kids who would be in charge of that section. So again, like the explanation of how they'll be graded. um we do major grades and classwork grades at my school. We don't really do it by skill base, but that would be a change I would like to have made to this project. Then they had to do an initial reading of the textbook and an outline to get the historical perspective, the historical context, and they would have to turn that in for a class grade. And I made sure that the initial assignment was a take-home assignment, and then they would bring their completed outlines to class and then share what they had. And then I would write everything on the board for face-to-face. And then whatever we would write on the board, if they did not have it in their outlines, they would have to add it because I asked them to choose only 4 important facts from each section to include in their outline. And they have the textbook pages linked and they could make a copy of the outline. I tend to force copies for assignments. I find that it works easier for students. It's saved in their Google Drive and then they can upload when they're done. We use It's Learning or the Hub, however you want to call it, and it's easy for Google Drive to be linked there. And I believe Canvas also has that as an option. So it's very easy for the student to just pull from Google Docs, and if they can't figure it out, then they can always share it with the teacher and you can easily find it. Um, and then you have, the presentation, creating that. This is where I kind of outline those roles a little bit better and I give them tips. So again, I've linked everything here for external links. If they needed to review the assignment page, they can find it here. This is not anything that they needed to make a copy of, but if they wanted to, they could. I include the rubric. We go over the rubric so they know exactly how they'll be graded. And then I, give them some resources to create their presentations. Researcher, to to make sure that they remembered how to use reliable resources, then I linked the reliable resources lesson that we had done a few weeks previously for a research paper, and then, a refresher on how to cite their sources because that is a requirement. I did tell them that they can keep, their citation lists on Google Docs. This is where, it's teaching them how to do that as well. And then, for the analyzer, I give them an analysis guide. So this all about differentiation, all about providing resources and help for students, because in this facilitation model, I want them to do it themselves, but also refreshing the learning that we've already touched on, the skills up spiral, and then of course their submission. I included the rubrics so they again know exactly how to grade it. I believe you can also grade this in Canvas pretty easily. And then the last step is the peer evaluation. So this is when I solicited feedback from not only how their peers did, because for group projects, I've always found that small groups tend to rely on other people. So this is a way to affect one's grade if a student didn't really do anything. Now, I don't really just go off of what their peers say. I also give them a participation grade and average it with peer evals. But this is also where I seek their feedback on the assignment, see what they liked, what they didn't like about it. But super easily navigable. I did create that custom button like Dr. Jones recommended because I just think they're cute and they're really easy to use. They're super easy for a student to just say, yes, I'm going to click on the picture and then get to the assignment that they need. Instead of kind of going through this navigation menu. But yeah, that's my Canvas course so far. Thanks for listening.